My name is Haley, and my presentation today is on Martin Luther. Martin Luther was born in 1483. His father, Hans Luther, had many plans for him. He wanted him to become a lawyer, so Luther decided to follow his father's wishes and become a lawyer. In 1505, Luther was caught in a thunderstorm, and he was almost struck by lightning. He considered that to be a sign from God and promised to become a monk if he had survived. So the storm ended and Luther came out and he was fine. So he left his studies and became a monk, and he entered the Augustinian monastery. He received a doctorate in 1512 and became a professor in biblical studies. In 1523, Luther helped 12 nuns escape. He helped the women escape in empty fish barrels, and one of those women actually became his wife in 1525. Her name is Catherine von Bora. He called her Katie. The couple actually had 6 children. One of the daughters died when she was only 13. Luther believed that the sins were between the sinner and God, and that the sinner shouldn't be able to pay the church for the sins that they have already committed. He didn't believe that that's how it should work. Luther also didn't agree that the church leaders lived in open relationships with mistresses and fathered illegitimate children. Luther also said in our textbook that if his wife didn't want to engage in relations with him, he would be able to turn to the housemaid or really anybody under the same roof as him, and it would be fine. Luther also had 8 educational related theories, and they have a theory of value, 2 theories of knowledge, theory of human nature, theory of transmission, theory of society, theory of opportunity, and theory of consensus. The one that I really like is until the age of 5, humans are untainted and innocent. After you turn 6 and older, they look for idealness and pleasure, but shun discipline and hate all virtues. So one I really liked, just that basically we're really pure when we're born, and as we get older, we kind of get tainted, I guess, because you're more susceptible, to different things, and you're seeing a lot more, and obviously your parents aren't sheltering you as much as the older you get. My very last slide here, it is the 95 Theses. So I'm going to talk about that in just a second. Luther objected to corrupt practices. Acting on that belief, Luther wrote disputations on the power and efficiency of indulgences, also known as the 95 Theses, a list of questions and propositions for debate for the church. Some of the legends that I found said that Luther defiantly nailed the 95 Theses to the door of the Wittenberg Castle Church on October 31st, 1517. It probably wasn't as dramatic as some of the articles I found, but it probably was a little bit more dramatic because nobody had ever done it before. The 95 Theses later became the foundation of the Protestant Reformation. They were remarkably written humbly and in an academic tone. They were more questioning than accusing the church of anything else. Their first 2 theses contain Luther's central idea that God intended believers to seek repentance, and that faith alone and not deeds would lead to salvation. The other 93 theses, a number of them directly criticizing the practices of indulgency, supported the first 2. So basically, he started very narrow and just kind of opened up. The 95 Theses were handed out quickly throughout Germany and then started to head towards Rome really fast. This is also when the printing press was coming about, so a lot of stuff that Luther was working on was getting printed and given out. So he worked on the New Testament, translating that into German. That took him 10 years, and so when the printing press came out, he was like, yeah, let's go, and got it out. So, but that is my presentation. So I have questions for you guys is, do you believe that he did it as dramatic as the legends say? Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good semester.